the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter. Waves of desire I am sure to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. Let us just settle into that for a few moments before we continue. Take a deep breath and come into the day here. And Stephanie will invite you into a breathing exercise.
So if you're watching this from home, you can do this either seated in a chair or lying down on your back, your preference. I'm going to possibly ask Gertie to hold the microphone for me so I can demonstrate. Thank you. So we're going to do what's called the 6-sided breath and the 3D breath breakdown. And it's a way of centering into your body and feeling your entire torso and how your breath moves through your body. It's a good way to quickly find areas of stress that you're holding onto physically, and it might release some things that you're holding onto emotionally as well. So the first one is you're going to place a hand on your breastbone and the other hand between your pubic bone and your navel. And you're going to take a deep breath in. If you're lying on your back, you can feel both hands push up with your breath, and if you're sitting up, you're going to feel those hands push forward. So you're going to take a deep breath in, and you're going to try to push both hands equally, filling your lungs and your stomach with air. And then exhale and let both hands sink back towards your spine. And again, you're going to inhale, and you want to feel your body push forward and backwards, or up and down if you're lying down. And as you exhale, let those hands sink back towards your spine. And one more time, deep breath in, and breathe out. Thank you. And then place your hands on the sides of your rib cage. And you want to feel now your breath breathe side to side. So inhale and push your ribs right and left. And as you exhale, you can gently press in with your hands, not hard, those ribs are delicate, as you exhale the breath. And inhale, breathe your ribs wide to the side. And exhale and breathe out. And one more time, inhale, breathe the breath wide to the side. And exhale and breathe out. Then you're going to place one hand on your collarbones right at the base of your throat and the other on your pubic bone. And you want to imagine your spine like an accordion or a concertina. And you're going to inhale and you're going to breathe long, lengthening your spine through the crown of the head and down through your pubis. And then exhale and release the breath. And like an accordion, gently playing a note, let the spine come back together. And inhale and breathe your spine long through your head and down through your sit bones. And exhale and release. And one more time. Inhale, breathe wide and long. Well, actually, just breathe long. Inhale. And exhale and release. Now place both hands on top of your belly button, one on top of the other. And I want you to imagine your torso like a six-sided box with a top and a bottom, both sides, and a front and a back. And now you're going to breathe that six-sided breath. And you're going to breathe wide and long and deep. Breathing into the corners of your shoulders and into your hip bones. And exhale. And again, inhale, breathe wide and long and deep. You might feel some tightness in front of your shoulders. The long muscles of your back might be stretching. And exhale and release. And one more time, fill your entire torso with air. And exhale and release. And now take a few more just concentrated breaths. They don't have to be as expansive as before, but just sort of tune in to any tight spaces that seem to be holding your attention, and try to send your breath there to expand and then release those areas of tension. And you can do this practice anytime. Might look a little funny if you're using your hands, but you can just do it mentally when you're standing in line or stuck in traffic, sitting in a chair. Just sort of breathe into the spaces and become aware of the messages your body's sending you, where it's holding on.
Thank you. And this actually leads us to our next activity, which is the welcoming prayer. The welcoming prayer is also based on us getting in touch with our bodies, but it's about welcoming that which is causing us a problem. It's creating stress for us. I recommend, if you're interested in this after today, that you find some readings about it or contact me, and I'd be happy to send you some readings. But it's part of the centering prayer, contemplative wheelhouse, and it is intended to help people live into their truth in a pliable way rather than braced. There's a number of lovely things that I've read about it, but the point is that whenever we brace against something, we're not going to be into our best selves. We're not going to be into the part of our bodies and our brains that helps us come back with creative solutions to what's going on. And it also generally means that we are focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing on an outside situation. We need to start with where we are. Is it anger? Is it fear? Whatever. One example that Cynthia Bourgeau gives in this response is that when one welcomes, one is letting go of the anger, not of the thing that happened. And she gave the example of incest. Like, how can I welcome incest? Well, nobody welcomes incest. But you welcome the anger, and then once you've got the anger and you're in touch with that, you can let the anger go. And the other thing that's important to know about the welcoming prayer, it is about the moment. It doesn't mean you're never going to be angry again, or even that you're never going to be angry about a particular situation again. But in the moment, and if you can endure the moment, you can endure anything. And if you get good at this practice, you can employ it at any time. Obviously not if somebody's like berating you at the moment, you're not going to be able to sit there and do the practice, but you can do it sometimes when you're alone, if shortly thereafter. It's made up of 3 steps. The first step is focus, basically doing a body check, kind of what we were preparing for with the breathing exercise. And then settling into that feeling. What is it bringing up for you? What's happening? You know, is your stomach tight? And you start thinking about softening your stance. Goes back to that whole thing that I was mentioning about not being braced. I'm going to share with you a little quote that I found that I really like. I'm going to ask Stephanie to hold the mic for me. Because there's sometimes things that I read and I go, this is beautiful, but I can never say it as beautifully, so I'm just going to quote from people. And this is from Rainer Maria Rilke's wonderful lines in Letters to a Young Poet. Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act, just once, with beauty and courage. Perhaps everything that frightens us in the deepest essence, something helpless that wants to be loved. The energetic principle at stake is strong and clear. These dragons are energy knots in the stream of your awareness. When you beam the stronger power of your compassionate attention on them, they dissolve and melt back into the river. And to reiterate what I was touching on earlier, Cynthia says, what you are welcoming is never an outer situation, only the feelings and sensations working within you in the moment. This moment can be endured. The well-known contemporary spiritual writer Gerald May reminds us. And this first 2 steps are the primary work of the process. But once you feel that softening in the welcoming portion, then you can let go. And there are 2 trains of thought about letting go. There's one that simply says, I let this go. And there's another, the woman who actually founded this method, prefers a really set liturgy, which goes with, I let go my desire for security and survival. I let go my desire for esteem and affection. I let go my desire for power and control. I let go my desire to change the situation. And again, Cynthia says, when we penetrate right to the heart of the kenotic mystery, which is letting go, it is not about giving up things we want or rolling over and playing dead. It is about connecting with an energy of sustenance so powerful and vibrant as it flows through our being from the infinite that all else pales in comparison. It not only flows through our being, it is our being. So it is a really powerful exercise, and we're going to give it a try this morning. So I suggest you settle and think about something either that's going on now or has gone on in the past that gives you stress. And focus as you're thinking about that, how your body is reacting. Where are you tight? Where are you tense?
And just to build on that, if you don't have a situation that pops up, but you did find an area that was feeling stressed or tight, or sometimes even numb, that there's no feeling, you have no sensation, you can center your focus on that and invite the spirit to inform you of what is being held in that location in your body.
Thank you. So we'll take a moment to do a body check. The other thing that might be, if it's not a tightening, is your heart beating fast, faster than usual? So we're focusing on whatever doesn't feel right in our bodies. And we transition to settling in with that and just inviting God into that and thinking about listening to God. Can you welcome what you're feeling? Has the knot loosened? The tight spot or the pain eased? Your heart beating more slowly? Breathe in and welcome. Prepare to let go. I let go my desire for security and survival. I let go my desire for esteem and affection. I let go my desire for power and control. I let go my desire to change the situation. Put it in God's hands. As you're ready, start to come back. I see your eyes opening. I hope that's been helpful. I think now we're ready to start talking about some other things we can do to help loosen the knots in our system and help us be freer as we go forward with all our duties. I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie now.
So as promised, we're going to do a hand and foot massage technique. It would be ideal if you had a small, relatively soft ball. If you have like a small stress ball around, if you have a, a, a pet's ball around your house, that they're willing to lend you if you, the thing I would not recommend, even though it's the right size, it's not the right consistency, is a golf ball. Don't use a golf ball. People use golf balls so they get hurt. So something like, if nothing else, like a racket ball or a tennis ball, any sort of bouncy ball. They're a bit on the hard side, but sometimes you have those small bouncy balls. Kids will have a small bouncy ball around the house. Yeah, like a Jack's ball, exactly. That size is perfect. So, so we're going to start, but just a little history of why we're doing this as part of everything else. And as we've talked about, we're very much embodied beings, and what is going on in our head tends to be reflected in our physicality. So, a lot of us, because of mobile devices and computers, and even if you've been holding a book in your hand for a long time, we get a lot of stress in our hands and forearms, and it's very important to try to relieve that stress. I know people are very familiar with the concept of carpal tunnel syndrome, but this is a way to sort of rinse the inflammation, and try to get the circulation flowing back through your hands and forearms. If you have arthritis, you might want to go gentle on yourself. You don't want to exacerbate any pain. We're trying to relieve pain. And I think we're going to try to move maybe the camera closer so we can have a close-up view of what we're doing as we work. Yeah, yeah. And then we are also going to, so again, these areas, this method is called the MELT method, which stands for myofascial energetic length technique. And the myofascia is sort of, the creator of this method describes it as the packing material in your body. So all the empty spaces, everything is held together just underneath the skin. It's held together by this fascia. And the problem with fascia, if you've looked at it under a microscope, which I doubt that you guys have, except maybe someone has, but it looks like a spider web with dew on it. And the dew is actually how nutrients are passed cell to cell and how waste is removed. And the problem tends to be that if you are putting, like if you're resting the corner of your wrist on a desk, that just like a spider web, that area gets compacted. And so circulation is no longer passing through that area, and it tends to become inflamed. So we're trying to just sort of give a gentle surface level push to that connective tissue to restore circulation. And it's basically to stimulate your body's own natural healing, which it will do as long as it has the space to do it. Another important thing, sorry, it's the instructor in me, is that most of us suffer from chronic tissue dehydration. So it's always great to drink water if you haven't done so before, so that your body has some actual fluid to move around. If you're dehydrated, that also greatly will increase the symptoms of inflammation and the stiffness of joints. So I know a lot of people suffer from that as we get older, so staying properly hydrated is really important. So with that, we're going to move a little closer to the camera so you can actually see the technique that we're going to start just now. I'm going to warn you in advance, there's going to be a lot of balls rolling off the table. So that just happens when we have several people and no one hanging on to the balls at all times. So, but this technique, what we're going to do is just a little assessment first, and you can definitely do this at home. You don't need the balls for this, but it does help. Excuse us while we do a little technical setup. Excellent. Okay. It should be. Yep. Okay. So what we're going to do first is, if you have a ball, you can, whatever consistency, you can just grip it in your right hand. If you don't have a ball, you can just make a fist and see what kind of tension or what kind of grip you have. Is it painful to make that grip? Do you feel like you have a strong grip? And then you're going to change hands. And if you're not holding a ball, you can just do both hands at the same time. But you can see, does it feel like one hand is stronger than the other? When you have the ball in one hand, can you feel it in your forearm? Does your forearm feel sore? What reaction do you get from just making that grip? Then I'm going to have you place your hands on the table. So you're going to place your fingertips so that your palms face away from you. And you're just going to place your palms on the floor, or on the table, excuse me. And first of all, can you do that? Can you do that without bending your elbows? Is it painful to do that? Are all 5 fingers down and long? And then gently, because the back of our hands are delicate, you're going to turn your palms in towards you and do the other side. Can you get your wrist down to the table without bending your elbows? What kind of tension are you feeling in your forearms? And then we're going to flip them back so that our fingers face out. And again, just feel how that feels. And then rotate them so that your hands face in. And sort of feel how the forearms are stretching, what's going on there. If this is really extreme and you can't get your wrist even close to the table, this is a good technique for you. All right. Even just doing that stretch daily can help you relieve tension, especially if when you're typing or working or texting with your thumb, you're feeling pain in your body. So from here, we're going to move on to the actual technique. Actually, I'm going to have you do one more assessment. So you're going to place your forearms together. We're in an appropriate place for this position. Welcome. And from here, you're just going to see if you can keep your wrists together. Can you open to a T shape? Most people, especially with their elbows together, can do a Y. Sometimes you have to bend your fingers to achieve that. But just see if you can open to that T shape and notice what that angle is. Good. So from here, I'm going to have you all, grab onto the ball that you're using, if you're using a ball. If you're not using a ball, what you're going to take is the thumb of the hand that you're not working, and you're going to do a gentle massage. If you have a ball, then you can just follow along. But if you don't, you're just going to do the exact same pressing with the thumb of your free hand. And you'll just do that in front of you. You won't need a table to do that. So from here, we have in front of us, which I will try to post a link with this so that you can have a picture. But what we have is a picture of the hand. And the first place that we're going to do, which is called position point pressing, we all have a picture of a left hand on the table, so we're going to start with our left hand. You're going to place the ball on the table. You're going to place your hand on top of it. So you see position point 1 is right in the center of the palm, and you can use the diagram, it's up to you. And then from here, you want to get all your 5 fingers just resting on the table. So rest your fingers down, good. Yep. And then you're going to take your free hand and you're just going to give it a press. So if you are not using a ball, you're just going to press your thumb into the center of your palm. It's not like you're doing chest compressions. It is not like you are trying to drill your way to China with your thumb. Obviously, be careful of your nails. And you just want to press gently and lift up. You don't ever want to be pressing to the point of pain during any of this. If you create pain today, chances are you're going to feel pain tomorrow. So do it gently. Now we're going to move either your thumb or the hand so it's on top of the ball. I've got it under my index finger knuckle so that my knuckle is the highest point. And again, I'm resting my fingers. I'm going to place my other hand on top and I'm going to give it a gentle press. And then release. I'm going to move it to my middle finger and I'm going to press my middle finger knuckle and release. Place it under your ring finger knuckle, give it a press and release. And place it under your pinky finger knuckle, give it a press and release. And you can just make note for later if you're feeling any tension to go back to them at any point. Now, the pad of your thumb, so this large pad close to your wrist, you're going to place that on top of the ball. That's position point 3 for those who have the diagram. And you're going to press. Most people have a lot of tension hiding here. It's those texting thumbs. And then you've got a groove right at the base of your palm. If you sort of pull your thumb towards your pinky finger, you can form a little groove here right at the wrist. That's position point 4. And we're going to give it a press. And then release. And then all of us with our finger, you can feel on the right, if you go from the wrist bone and go right around the edge there, there's like a little indent there. And that's position point 5, slightly on the side, and you're going to give it a press and release. And if you are someone who rests that bone on the desk as they are typing, you might feel it very strongly there. Good. So from there, we're going to bring this ball back to the groove at the base of our wrist. And if you're using a ball, you're going to rest your hand right on that ball. If you're not using a ball, you'll just place your thumb there. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a smile. So I'm placing my top hand, and I'm rolling it from the base of the thumb over to the opposite side of the wrist in sort of a smile motion. And you can put your middle finger down on the table if you're using a desk or a table, just to give it like a little pivot point. And then you're going to stop at the base of your thumb, that position point 3 on your diagram, that pad underneath your thumb, and you're going to make a circle there. And you're going to try to relax your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders when you do this. Notice if you've tensed up. If you've tensed up, you might be pushing too hard. You might be causing yourself pain. And again, we want no pain in this technique. And then you're just going to press and hold. Good. All right, I'm going to invite the people at the table with me to grab a chair, to pull up a chair. Because the next one is going to be more comfortable if you sit. It's easier when you're standing. My apologies. It's easier when you're standing to have the pressure. You don't have to use your muscles. You can just sort of lean forward with your body weight. But now that we're going to work on our forearms, it's nice to use the table. So you're going to put your elbow on the table. Good. And again, if you're using your thumb, just make sure you're not digging in like crazy. We are not doing deep tissue massage here. We are doing gentle surface stimulation of the nerve endings and the connective tissue, which is called fascia. So you're going to take this ball and you're going to feel around with your fingers. Most of us have first of all, you feel the muscle there, but most of us can find a tender spot that's really sore. You're going to place that ball on it, and again, you're just going to rest the weight of your hand on there, And it's really usually right up by the outside edge of you can find, if you feel around, you can place the ball there, you can sort of roll it around, you can find that sore spot. So you're going to rest your hand on top of it, the free hand on top of it. You are not pushing down. You are resting the weight of your hand on top of it. And the technique is actually to move your hand that you've rested just off the edge of the table, so you can feel this sort of a sensation, a pulling sensation. So again, it's just a gentle massage. And then you can try different things. You can circle your wrist. You can make a fist and then straighten it. That's a good one. So you can feel, as you move the muscle, how you're releasing some of the tension in that area. Then you're going to relax the hand, and you're going to do a gentle circle there. Again, if you're using your thumb, just do a gentle circle. Again, no digging in. Then, if you take your fingers, you have two bones. I'm sure most of us know. If you don't worry about it. We have two bones in our forearm. You want to try to use some fingers to see if you can find the webbing between the two bones. So if you, palpate down, feel down, you can feel there are two bones. So go about halfway between your wrist and your elbow and find that little spot and rest the ball there. This is where your carpal tunnel lives. And so you're going to, again, press either with your thumb or with just resting your hand on the ball. And again, you're going to move the hand of the left arm, your left hand, the hand of your left arm. Sometimes I say things in very wordy ways. And then you're going to come right down by your wrist. Some of you, like me, might have to move your watch a little. But right above, it's going to have to, the watches are coming off. So right underneath where you normally wear your watch, right between the two bones, again, you're going to do a gentle pressure, and you're going to circle. Or just wave the hand, make a fist, and straighten the fingers. Some people like to wave the fingers to just get some circulation there. Now we come to most people's favorite part of this technique. You take the ball, or you take your fingers like so, and you're just going to sweep the ball from that sore spot that we started at, right by your elbow, and you're just going to roll it down your forearm. And this is to encourage the circulation in that connective tissue. We're trying to get rid of those areas of stuck stress, which, as we were talking about before, a lot of times the stuck stress in our body perfectly correlates with the stuck stress in our lives. So if you are somebody who is feeling a lot of pain here, and it's not from something like typing all the time, it could be that you are gripping onto life, as Gertie was saying before, like tensing. So you just want to notice those areas. So now we're going to repeat on our second hand. So again, we can do this sitting up or standing down. I find it easier to stand up if standing is not an issue for you, just because you can use less muscle action and more just body weight lean. So again, we're starting in the center of our palm, either pressing on the ball or with the thumb, and you're just going to give it a gentle press, and then release. Place the ball underneath your index finger knuckle and give it a press, and release. Underneath your middle finger knuckle, give it a press, and release. Underneath your ring finger knuckle, press, and release. Underneath your pinky finger knuckle, and release. Place it under that pad of your thumb. Give it a press. I like to hang out here for a moment. There's usually a lot of tension on my right hand in that. It is the texter thumb. Or it's the Duolingo texting thumb.
Right.
For those of us who are trying to master another language. And then right at that groove at the base of your palm, right where the palm, the hand connects into the wrist, give it a little press and release. And then the outside edge of the hand, pinky finger side, just above the wrist, give it a press and release. Then we're going to place the ball back in that groove at the base of the palm, and we're going to roll it from side to side. Again, try to relax your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders as you do this. Don't just shift the tension around your body. We're trying to let it go. Put it underneath the pad of your thumb and make a circle. And then again, just give it a gentle press and release. We're going to have a seat. And from here, we're going to place our elbow on the table. I usually tell people, like, you know, you're leaning up against the bar, although we're not encouraging that. We're not discouraging that behavior. We're not encouraging that behavior. You're going to place your fingers, you're going to feel around there, or you can just place the ball there and you're going to feel around. Try to find an area that is tender or sore, and once you found it, rest the ball there. Just use the weight of your hand, or if you're pressing with your thumb, don't go too crazy. And then you're going to move the wrist, now on our right hand, and you can circle. You can make a fist and spread the fingers. And then you're going to lift and lower the hand, you know, just move it around so you can feel that pulling sensation, like it's getting a gentle massage there. And then you can relax and you can make a gentle circle there, either with your thumb or the ball. And then you're going to track down to the forearm. Try to find halfway between the wrist and the elbow, a little space in between the two bones, and rest the ball there. And again, you're going to move your right hand in whichever way feels like most effective for you. Again, you don't want to press in hard. If you wake up tomorrow and you have little bruises on your arm, you press too hard. Don't do that. And not shockingly, as I'm right-handed, this side has a lot more tension. And then we're going to go to just above the wrist. Again, trying to get between the two bones, just above the wrist bone. And you're going to move the hand. Again, some people like to wave the fingers, they like to circle the wrist, they like to just wave the hand up and down, they like to make a fist and extend the fingers, whatever feels like it's getting the most movement opposite your thumb or ball. Good. And then either with your fingers or the ball, you're going to start at your elbow and you're going to sweep that ball or roll that ball down your forearm, or sweep your fingers down your forearm. To relieve tension. If you suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome, just doing these few, the pressure, the gentle pressure, rotating the wrist, sweeping down the forearm to encourage circulation, to try to relieve the inflammation in those muscles. Now, from here, we're going to take the ball, if you have a ball. If you don't have a ball, you'll just put your hands together, and you're going to do a little friction. You're just going to wake up those hands. And you can massage the sides. You guys have been very good. Nobody's lost a ball yet. Oh, I've been practicing this for a few years. But yeah, again, sometimes this outer edge, especially if you've been doing a lot of typing, a lot of data entry. Excellent. Okay, I invite you guys, you are allowed to use my mask to keep your ball or your pocket. Your pocket was a good, yeah, we're gonna use these balls again. So from here, we're gonna go back to our assessments. Oh, I had you guys put your balls away too soon. Anyways, you're gonna take that ball. You just missed it, but we're gonna just see if you feel like you have a stronger grip than you did before. So after doing these techniques, do you feel like you have a firmer grip, that you can that you can grip the ball more firmly without feeling any tension possibly in your upper arm. So when I had my left arm, when I was gripping the ball, I could feel it in my upper arm, and I don't feel that anymore at all. All right, so then from here, you're going to come on up and do our other assessments. So we put our palms facing away from us, and we place them down on the table. So can you get your hands more comfortably on the table with your fingers straight? Good. So actually, can you turn your palms so they face me? Okay. Oh, sorry. And then you're going to do the other side. So just feel how that feels. Like it might have felt like painful, the pulling before. Can you get your fingers flatter? Can you get your elbows straighter with less pulling? And then palms come together, or wrists come together, fingers facing apart. If you weren't able to get all those fingers down before, flat, just notice that. A lot of this is really good for prevention of arthritis as well, to try to keep the circulation flowing, keep inflammation from building up. And you can just feel all those positions. And then finally, our church-appropriate position. You're going to open your hands out and see if you can get those further with straight fingers than you did before. You got a big difference. Yeah. Nice. And you can get your elbows together now. Excellent. So, yeah. So a big difference in the mobility of your wrists just from a gentle technique. So I think we're going to take a brief break now. So we're going to come back in about 5 to 10 minutes. And then we will come back together and do our feet. So feet can be done barefoot or in socks, your preference. And it might be a little tricky if you don't have a ball, so if you can find a ball, that would be fabulous.
Stand. I have a chair too.
You know what? I'll probably stand. And then I'll just quickly sit down and show people how they can do it. So,
Veronica, why don't you come over here so that you're on camera as well?
I'm going to move this while you're doing it.
okay. Behind this chair.
So when you're talking,
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I can stand without something to lean on.
Yeah.
Take off my shoes. My big cloggy things. They kept my feet nice and warm.
I like Veronica's boots a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I like your socks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she wore good socks for
I didn't think I forgot you were going to look at my socks.
cool tops.
Oh, those are great. I know it's cold.
All right, I did put my ball in my pocket. Okay. All right. Whew.
We should have turned on the heat, Frank.
All right.
Are you okay with us being unmasked?
Oh, of course. It's such a habit now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I just put it on for your comfort, but
I mean,
this is a big room, even though we're,
Right.
and also,
I know the three of us are all vaccinated.
and
am
I have
too.
my booster as well,
Yeah,
so.
and we're boosted.
So,
Yeah, I'm not boosted yet, but I've had all my 2
Yeah.
shots. I've got to get boosted.
yeah, Kyle just got his booster yesterday.
Oh, good.
So, actually, I'm gonna move this up a little for when I'm standing.
we can actually put this in.
Sound, okay. Additional skills that we've acquired during the pandemic. Proper miking angles.
Trial and error.
right, I guess I'm ready when you are. Okay, all right. Then from here, we're going to start with our feet. So you can do this either standing or sitting down. If you have a ball, you can do this either standing or sitting down. Unless you are a contortionist and you don't have a ball, you must sit down. So again, it requires a little bit of flexibility. It requires a little bit of flexibility if you don't have a ball, but again, you can use your hand. If you are not flexible, you definitely will need to have a ball. And again, it can be really almost any ball you can find, with the exception, again, of a golf ball, which is too hard and will bruise the bottom of your feet. So if you are not using a ball, you're going to have to lift your foot up and press. If you have a very nice friend or spouse or child in your house, you can maybe ask them to do this for you if you're not as flexible as I am and aren't able to put your foot up on your opposite leg. But you can definitely gently press on your foot. Good. So the rest of us here are going to do this standing in just a moment with the balls. The way to do it sitting down is, instead of stepping on and off the ball, you would have the ball underneath your foot and you would just lean your body weight forward and back, and then you'll feel that the pressure changes as you lean into it. Again, we're going to do this standing, but you do what works for what you have available and what your body can comfortably do. So from here, you're going to see us chasing these balls all around the room quite soon. So from here, we are just going to first do our assessments as we did the other time. So you're just going to stand, or if you're seated, you want to lean a little forward so you can feel the weight of your feet on the floor. So you can close your eyes. If closing your eyes makes you feel immediately unstable balance-wise, please open them back up. We don't want anybody falling. But also, you just want to make note of that. If you feel immediately unbalanced by closing your eyes, that means that you are solely relying on your eyesight to balance yourself, which becomes very dangerous because that makes your falling risk skyrocket if your brain is only using your eyesight to balance. So one of the reasons that it's really good to work on your feet and keep your feet out of pain and out of numbness is that your brain talks to your feet constantly to recalibrate your balance. So to do a little demonstration of this, I want you all to open your eyes if you're not already. Stand with both feet on the floor. You can't quite do this technique if you're seated, but you're going to just stand here. First, just do a little check-in with your feet. Is there any part of your foot that's currently hurting? Are your toes able to relax down on the floor? Do you feel like all your weight is more on one side than the other? Do you feel like all the weight is on the ball of your foot or back on your heel? If you can try to center your weight, but just make note of all these things for later on so you can make a comparison. Then, with your eyes open, I want you to see if you can lift all 10 toes off the floor. And you're going to hold them there for 10 seconds. So again, this is already, we're just using our muscles. Can you lift your toes off the floor? That they should be able to be mobile. You want to be able to use your toes. Now I want everyone to take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to drop your toes to the floor. Notice if your body did this huge sway. So now from here, we're going to do it again. So I want you to close your eyes again. I want you to lift all 10 toes off the floor. And just breathe naturally as you try to lift all those toes, including that baby toe. It's usually the hardest one to get up. But you want to try to lift those toes. If the toes have lost their ability to move, again, that starts to really impede your ability to walk and to balance. Keeping your eyes closed, take a deep breath in again. And as you exhale, drop your toes to the floor. And you might feel that wave become huge, meaning there is a disconnect that tells you how much you were using your eyesight, again, to calibrate. If you had a sort of subtle eyes open sway, and you had a gigantic, which I did, eyes closed sway, that's telling you how much you're relying on your eyesight to do your balancing. It's also telling you how long it's taking your brain to get the message to your feet and back again. So your brain uses the connective tissue as a electro-vibrational impulse, which is a very interesting concept. So every time your foot hits the ground, your brain is getting the message from your feet how much energy it has to send to your muscles to keep you upright. So it's doing this constant recalibration. So one of the great things about doing these techniques with your feet is you're fine-tuning that calibration. You want that to be fast. This is your reflex. It's how long your brain is taking to get the message to put things. So that's why lots of people, when they're walking and they suddenly step onto grass, they fall. It's because their brain didn't have enough time to get the message that we're on a new surface and tense the muscles in a new way. So we're trying to fine-tune those reflexes. Sorry for that long explanation, but they're really, you want your feet to be reactive and your brain to get the messages to your feet. So if you're wearing very heavy support shoes, practicing doing some barefoot walking so that your brain can actually feel the floor is very good for you. Okay, we're feeling a very cold tile floor at the moment. So we're going to do a very similar technique to what we did with our hands. So we, again, have diagrams. I will try to get the diagrams to Frank and Gertie so that they can be posted with this information. But you're going to place the ball underneath your right foot, right in the center. Don't put pressure on it yet. Right in the center of your foot. So if you drew a line dividing your foot front and back and side to side, you want the ball right in the crosshairs of your foot. And then, like you are way back in the day at a concert with your lighter, you're just going to rock your body side to side. So you're going to put weight on it, put weight off of it. Again, we are not trying to create pain, so put less pressure on that leg if it is causing pain. So you just want to, a few times, 5 or 6 times, feel the pressure. If you're using your thumb, you just want to gently press in, not to the point of pain, but to the point where you can actually feel that you are pressing in. Then you're going to step off the ball, and you're going to move the ball underneath your big toe knuckle. So the actual knuckle, the ball of your foot, it should not be underneath your toes, unless you're using a big ball and you can't help but have it underneath your toes. So just like we did with the hand, you want to see that knuckle pop up. You're going to lean your weight forward onto that foot and lean back, just like we did side to side a moment ago. You're just going to lean on, lean off. Then you're just going to move your foot slightly sideways so that it's underneath the second toe knuckle, the knuckles of the toe, not the toe itself. So you're back in the foot, not underneath the toes. And give it a few presses just by rocking your weight forward and back underneath your third toe knuckle, underneath your fourth toe knuckle, and underneath your fifth toe knuckle. Now, our next position point that we're going to press is, you don't have to turn sideways, I am, so people on camera can see, but right in the center of the arch on the inside edge of your foot. So you want to have it just inside the center. So we're not in the center like we were in the first position. You're just inside the arch, right in the center of the arch, and you're going to press your weight on there a lot. This position point pressing, so if any of you are experiencing things like suddenly your stomach is making digesting noises, that's really good. That means that your body is relaxing enough that it is actually getting the benefits of the increased circulation. Then I'm going to roll my heel back so I come to just behind the ball of the foot. I'm still just on the inside edge. I know you guys can't quite see that, but so you want to have it so you want to see the ball and then hide it. You don't want it in the center of the foot. It's on the inside edge of the foot. Okay? So just on that inside edge. Yes, so this point on your foot directly relates to your neck. So if you feel your shoulders drop, which I frequently do when I hit this spot, it is directly, if you are somebody who follows reflexology, it is directly, the inside edge of the foot correlates with the spine, and we are now up at the neck. But a lot of tension tends to be stuck there. Now the outside edge of the foot, halfway between the baby toe knuckle and the heel, again, you want to see the ball and just sort of hide it. So you're right inside the edge and you're going to press there. And you can relax your toes down on the floor unless that creates too much pressure in the foot. Good, and hopefully my feet haven't gotten too dirty, but right in front of the heel, there's like a little groove. It's position 0.5 on our diagram. And you're going to press there. Another area that correlates to the low back, the organs of digestion, lower digestion. So now from here, you're going to press on that ball, and you're just going to swipe it side to side, just like we were making that smile motion across the base of our hand. Right in front of the heel, we're just going to go side to side. And then you're going to start to wiggle your toes forward so that the ball comes towards the back edge of your heel. And then you're going to wiggle it back. Sometimes running through the center of your heel towards your Achilles tendon, you can feel the tendon there like almost like a hard pencil underneath the center of your heel. And again, this is a great technique to sort of release that tension. So now we're going to come back into the foot, and we're just going to press on that position 0.5 right in front of the heel. Then we're going to shift, and we're going to put our big toe knuckle. This is where balls tend to start rolling. So you place the big toe knuckle underneath your big toe. That made no sense. You're going to place your big toe knuckle on top of the ball, and you're going to swipe to the baby toe knuckle. Then you're going to lift up, take the pressure off, and go back. Swipe from the big toe knuckle to the baby toe knuckle. Big toe knuckle to the baby toe knuckle. Big toe knuckle to the baby toe knuckle, and one more time. All right, so now you're going to put it underneath your big toe knuckle, and you're going to roll that foot forward to the heel. And then the second toe knuckle, roll it to the heel. The third toe knuckle, roll it to the heel. The fourth toe knuckle, roll it to the heel. And the fifth toe knuckle, and roll it to the heel. And then like we did with our hands, you're going to go all over, just some gentle. Good. And then you're going to set that ball off to the side. So now I want all of us, seated or standing, to put both feet without the ball firmly on the floor and see if you notice a difference between the foot that you've massaged and the foot that you haven't massaged. Most people feel like the foot that they've worked on is more connected to the floor. It doesn't feel like it's pulling away from the floor. So one of the other things that I forgot to have you guys do is sort of a forward bend assessment, which hopefully Frank and I can do without bonking heads. But we're going to place our hands on our thighs. You're going to keep your back flat, and you're going to lean forward, hinging at the hips, and you can slide your hands down your body. And then you can see how far your fingers, obviously, be gentle with yourself, make sure you're balanced and safe, and see if your hands come down to the floor. Now, all of us in this room have worked out our right foot. Can you feel a difference between the stretch in your right leg and the stretch in your left leg? and come on back up. So if you felt that big difference between the leg that we've got the circulation going and the leg that we didn't get the circulation going, that's a really good sign that you've like turned on that side of your body. So you've turned on that connection, and that actually goes all the way up to your back once you get the circulation flowing. Good, we're gonna do our other foot. So again, starting with the ball right underneath the center of the foot, halfway between the front and the back, and we're just gonna rock our weight side to side. I just got a back pop just by pressing on the ball, which also sometimes happens. So if you're getting other benefits like neck spontaneously releasing, back spontaneously releasing, it just goes to show how much tension that we carry in our hands and feet that actually are sending tension to other areas of our body. And it's very rare that if we're having a extremely stressful situation in our life, that this pain is not getting stuck in our body. It's sort of a natural reaction when the brain is overloaded to try to shift the stress out of your head into other places of your body. That's a whole different discussion for another day, but the brain can only handle so much stress. If you are so stressed out that you are putting yourself in danger by not eating properly, not paying attention when you're crossing the street, not taking care of just the small things, you're so stressed that you're forgetting to do things that you would normally do, your brain is going to shift that stress to something else because the brain really wants to keep you going. So you just want to tune back into the body. It's sort of a two-way street. You can release stress in the body to release stress in your mind. You can release stress in your mind to release stress in your body. Now we're going to place that ball underneath our big toe knuckle, and you're going to shift your weight forward onto that foot and shift it back and shift it forward. Again, if you're seated, you're just leaning forward and back. If you are pressing with your thumb, you're just giving some gentle presses. Good, and underneath your second toe knuckle, a few presses. Underneath the third toe knuckle, a few presses. The fourth toe knuckle, a few presses. The fifth toe knuckle, a few presses. Good, and then coming to the inside arch of the foot, halfway between the big toe knuckle and the heel, on that inside arch, give it a few presses just by rocking your weight on and off the foot. Pull it back so you're just behind the big toe knuckle and give it a few presses. And then you're going to move to the outer edge of your foot, halfway between the baby toe knuckle and the heel, and give it a few presses. And then underneath the heel, just in front of the heel in the center of the foot, a few presses. Then you're going to apply that pressure. You're going to start to swipe the ball side to side right in front of the heel. You're going to wiggle those toes forward, wiggle them back. Come back to that place right in front of the heel and give it a little pressure, and then release it. From there, place the ball underneath your big toe knuckle. Swipe it to your baby toe. If you're using a thumb, you're just rolling it just in the one direction, from big toe knuckle to baby toe knuckle. Big toe knuckle to baby toe knuckle. One more, big toe knuckle to baby toe knuckle. Place it back underneath the big toe knuckle, and you're going to roll that ball to your heel. Lift up. Place it underneath the second toe knuckle. Push it to your heel. Lift the pressure off. Third toe knuckle. Pressure to your heel. Fourth toe knuckle. Pressure to the heel. And one more time, fifth toe knuckle. And roll it to the heel. And then we're just going to do a nice, gentle, all over. I apologize if I forgot this on the other foot, but just an all over gentle massage. Okay. only one who lost the ball. Okay, so we're going to step off of there, and again, we're going to put both feet on the floor. Hopefully, they both feel more connected. You feel more grounded and solid. And again, we're going to do that gentle forward lean. And notice if suddenly you can stretch further than you could before. And if you've got that nice, gentle, even stretch in both sides now. And then you're going to pull your abs in. You're going to roll yourself back up. And we're done.
Very good.
That's great.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
We've run a bit over time, so I won't read the last reading I prepared. But thank you for being with us. Hope this has been helpful and that it helps you in the next 2 weeks in the busyness of December. Thank you.